Great. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the small venue pitch sessions info session. The small venue pitch sessions are run by the Community Presenters Network, but just to give you the tie-in between SPARC and the CPN, we often joke around that Ontario Presents and SPARC are like the parents of the CPN. So where we really get to work closely with the CPN and support them is on this project every year through administration and coordination and just hang out with Eric, which who doesn't want to spend more time with Eric? So, with that being said, I am going to pass over to the gentleman himself who's going to give us some more info. Eric, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, I'm not sure everybody wants to spend more time with me. We may be the CPN may be the child of the two networks, but I often joke we're the small venue pitches. We've asked Spark for the keys to the car, so no, thank you everyone for joining us today. We're going to keep this session really light and laid back. Set aside tons and tons of time for questions. Till the sun is finally shining in my kitchen here, so I'm not rural internet. We'll see how that goes. But I thought maybe we would just quickly go around the room and introduce ourselves. So just maybe you can say who you are, where you're zooming in from, and the name of your group or artist if it's somebody other than yourself. And just we'll do this the way where you just throw it from one person to the next. So we will just throw it. I'll throw it to the next person on my. I'll start. I'll say my name is Eric. I am the co-chair of the CPN, vice chair of Rachel Spark Network, and the theater coordinator at the Fergus Grand Theater. And I'm coming to you today from Fergus, Ontario. So I'm going to throw it over to Krista next on my screen, who is muted.
There we go. Hi, everybody. I was on before. Krista Blondin, and I'm from Toronto and Mississauga area. I'm a singer and band leader for a few acts, Janis Joplin tribute, as well as a tribute to Canadian women in music. And I also do some jazz and different stuff. So, yeah.
All right, and throw it to someone else. Just pick anyone.
Anyone? I'll go.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I'm Denise Leslie. I'm also from the Mississauga area, Clarkson, and I sing jazz. I've been singing jazz for over 20 years, and I sing with the Mississauga Big Band Jazz Ensemble, and do a little bit more than that, private gigs and wherever I can. That's about it.
Erica?
Jump in. I'm Chris McCool, and with three-time Juno nominated Sultans of String, and I'm also working on my newest children's album in 17 years since the last time I made one, but celebrating 30 years of performing for young audiences next season.
I can go next. All right. My name is Nathan Smith. I'm calling in from Smiths Falls, Ontario, just south of Ottawa, in between Ottawa and Kingston. And I don't know if we're in that in the gunshot area. Okay. I should look into that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am a fiddle player and singer. Founding member of the Barrel Boys, an original bluegrass band, and Vinta, an instrumental fiddle music ensemble. We play traditional fiddle music from France, and a lot of sort of creative arrangements and original tunes based on the musical traditions of that and the rest of Western Europe. So yeah, thanks for having me here.
Danielle, you're right on my screen next.
I was just about to jump in. It's nice to see everybody here. I'm Danielle. I am the owner and manager of Canis Major Music, located in Vermont, home to the Abenaki traditional lands. And I joined you all last year around this time. And I represent about 30 artists from all over the world. About half of my roster, though, are Canadian artists based in Quebec and Ontario. And I wish I was Canadian. And just very happy to be here seeing you all. And yeah, look forward. And I guess I'll pick Richard next.
That would be me, and I'm suffering from rural connectivity. So that's the picture of the back of my phone or something. I'm not really sure what that is. It probably looks a little, more friendly than my face anyway. So I think it's an advantage to us all. From Port Perry, Ontario, and I'm the lap steel player with The Wanted, an alt roots, alt country band that has been hanging around for a decade or so, maybe even two by now. And that's it.
Matt, you're next on the screen. My screen, anyway.
Hi, I'm Matthew Dezuta. I'm a musician from the Hamilton area who plays under the name Color Film. And I guess I'll pass it over to Sage.
Hello. Sorry, I just joined. My name is Sage. I'm from Midnight Agency, but I also perform in a band called Shred Kelly. And yeah, great to meet everybody.
Okay. Veronica, can I kick it over to you next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Veronica Kut. I own VK Artists Promotion and Bookings. I am based in Toronto and I work with a diverse roster of Latin and singer-songwriter in the folk.
Erica.
Hi, I'm a theater artist, solo performer for about 40 years, tour mostly internationally in downtown Toronto, but I recently purchased a 3-room schoolhouse, one of which has a gorgeous studio that I'm working with. I don't know if anyone knows Franco Boni, but a number of people to do some strategic planning around building some more events here. I have no interest in being a producer. I am here as an artist. I'm trying to reorient myself to Canada. I've been working in Turkey and India and USA primarily. I'm an American citizen as well. So used to tour Vermont, performed in Vermont many times a million years ago. So I'm just here trying to get to know who's out here in rural Ontario and trying to understand what it means to go from being sort of an international city-based. I do weird stuff mostly, but for example, I'm touring India next year and I'm developing a piece that's going to be a little bit more accessible than my usual weird, Luminato level kind of stuff that doesn't tend to sell in Ontario or Canada. There's like 4 venues in this country, but I'm trying to stretch myself into smaller venues and more rural venues and trying to figure out how do I do that without just creating stupid clown shows, forgive me. And I know that happens out here. So I'm really excited to see some theater people that I'd love to just chat with and see what happens out here, what's possible out here.
Cool. Yeah, we should definitely check up one old theater person to another. I'm jealous of your touring success history. Okay, Carla, I think you are the last person on here. Maybe Carla is not here.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button. It's different on everybody's screen. Hello, nice to see you, Rachel. I emailed you. I must have wrote your email down wrong because it bounced back. I am so happy to have been at Ontario Presents Retreat. I have an agency called Fame Group Agency, about 30 artists, multi-genre across Canada. And I'm just here to learn more about SPARC and meet everybody and just be part of the community. Just kind of carry on the last few years, having been to Ontario Presents Retreat and just meeting people one-on-one, and I'm just learning more and just building relationships. So that's that.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. I know sometimes it feels like a bit of a hoop to jump through the intros, but it is nice to get to know everybody, and I feel like it's important. There's a real mix here of people that I know and people that I don't. So nice to see some familiar faces, and great to connect with some people for the first time. Uh, I also am, very cognizant that we have a mixture of people on the call, artists and agents, and people at various different levels. I'm also cognizant that we are going to post this on the SPARC Facebook page once we're done. So people who may subsequently view this may have an even greater range of backgrounds that they're coming at this. So if it's all right with everybody, I want to give just a little quick 5 minutes. This is what this is, and this is how we got here. And then I do want to make sure we spend a good chunk of time for people's questions, because that's what these sort of sessions are really, really all about. But just to briefly set the stage, and I will try and be as brief as I can, and I'm not known for my brevity, so we'll see how this goes. The Community Presenters Network itself did start as an offshoot of discussions at the SPARC Symposium and an Ontario Presents Ontario Contact event in the fall of 2016, I believe it was, and we constituted as a network in early 2017, and have been going ever since. But about 3 years ago, I believe, yes, it was 3 years ago now, our members came to us being me. I'm the co-chair, but there's no real other executive as of yet. But we collectively decided as a membership that we'd like to see some artists. We'd like to see some pitches from people. Now we all participated in the Ontario Presents, Ontario Contact, and various other contact and showcase events across the country. But there was a desire, and this was post-pandemic, so virtual had become a thing. There was a desire to see more work that was more geared to the types of venues that the Community Presenters Network is made up of. The Community Presenters Network really, we talk about it as a child network of SPARC and Ontario Presents. It is, in that it fills a niche, a gap that we believe is in the performing arts ecosystem that neither organization is totally suited to fill. We are the small venue presenters. So we say ballpark, and we don't hold anybody to this, but we say if you have 400 seats or less, you're probably a good candidate for being a member of the CPN. We have some members who are much larger than that, but they never fill their spaces. We have some that are very small. Some of our smallest presenters are well under 100 seats. Community, really, really small stuff. We're not exclusively rural based, as SPARC is, but we're a lot of rural. And there's a lot of volunteer presenters in our network, a lot of emerging presenters, people and organizations and communities that are just getting into presenting and are maybe just sort of still finding their way as a presenting venue. I myself represent a venue that is still very much finding its way as a presenting venue. I have presented. See anybody on this list? No, Chris. Chris, I've presented Chris before. He's been in my space a couple of times, but I don't have the capacity to present a lot of other artists, and many of my fellow colleagues in the CPN are in that same position. So we were seeing a lot of great work at these showcase conferences that we just couldn't book. And whether it's time, whether that's marketing considerations or tech, or fees, we just can't pay what the big places can. So we were kind of feeling a little left behind, because the big venues obviously have to worry about their bottom lines and they have to pull those together. So we said, let's do something that's specifically aimed at the small venues. So we put a call out, and frankly, the response was overwhelming. Artists were like, "Yes, we want to play in these venues. Thank you for, providing this as an avenue." So it kind of blew up on us the first year. It went from, let's see if we can find some people who want to do some pitches, to okay, we're doing 3 nights of pitches. So that's how we got to where we are. We're here now in year 3. We are the pitch application form is open right now, and I did save the link, which I'm putting into the chat. Hopefully it works. Is for anybody who doesn't have the link or hasn't already applied. It's a really simple process. We just ask people for a little bit of information about themselves and like a 5-minute video, so we know what their actual act is. Anybody is free to do this. You don't have to be amateur, professional, anywhere in between. There's no sort of set thing. The Any genre, so music, theater, dance, young audience, multidisciplinary, anything really goes. The only thing that really does affect it is that it's small venues. So if you have a show that, needs a $10,000 fee, you probably aren't going to find much success with these. Or if you need a show, if you have a show that has some really massive technical requirements, like 50-foot scaffoldings and things like that. Probably, I'm not saying that there aren't venues in the CPN who couldn't accommodate that. There are. Just most of us probably not. So what happens is between now and the end of June, applications can come in, and then over the summer, a jury will look at all those applications, and we're going to choose 30 from that group, and we're going to put those into 3 nights of pitches in early September. So we'll put 10 per night, and we'll put them into a reel with a nice, intro and outro. It can be the same material that people applied with, or they can do something different if they had like a new video or something like that in between. So we run these for the 3 nights, and then after the reels are run, we open it up to it's all virtual. It'd be nice if we could do it in person, but it is all virtual. And then we open it up to sort of a Zoom with a whole bunch of breakout rooms, and every artist is in the breakout room, and then presenters can go and visit whatever artists they want to talk to. I guess artists could go talk to other artists if they wanted to as well. But it's just an opportunity for artists and presenters to make that connection right after having seen the reels, and see if there's anything there that makes that sparks something. Rachel loves it when I throw in spark puns. Again, I'm rambling way too far on, but I will mention one more thing about them. These do work. People do get work out of this. I have booked artists because I have seen them in the pitches. I have discovered work that I didn't otherwise know that I know about or had no way of knowing. Small venues, as a rule, we tend not to have the same time and money and resources to go see work as many of our larger colleagues. I don't get a ton of, say, hey, let's go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival type invitations, or hey, why don't you go do this or do that? Or hey, I'd like to go and spend 2 weeks in Toronto listening to live music. That's just not in the cards for a lot of us. So opportunities like this are a great way for artists to get their work out to presenters who wouldn't perhaps have the chance to otherwise see them. So, okay, one last thing. Promise that would be the last thing, but one last thing. If you do not get selected as those 30 pitches, what we've done is the last 2 years, and what we're going to do this year is we're going to create an artist gallery. So basically an online forum lives on the SPARC website. It'll be up for a year, and it's everybody who applied, who has said, yes, we'd like to be included. So it's just basically your bio, link to the video, whatever, the same assets that you would have, just not in the formal pitch session. So all the pitch session artists are in the gallery, but everybody else is also in the gallery. So it lives there as a living place where presenters can go and look and check stuff out. And I too have booked artists that were not in the pitches, but were in the galleries. It really is. I find it great if I'm looking for something specific. Oh, I need people who can do this. Because the gallery, at least in the past few years, has been searchable by genre. So you can kind of go, oh, okay, I need this, I need that. So, like I said, I've talked way too long, but I think I've given a pretty good overview of what the pitches are and why we do them. I have probably missed some very important details. So I would like to open it up for questions now, for anybody who has anything that they would like to ask. You can either raise your hand, or we're a small group here, or just put it in the chat, whatever. Rachel will help me out if I get distracted here. We'll see what we can do to answer them. So, Chris, of course, start us off. But unmute yourself first.
Yeah, there we go. Can you just tell me a little bit about your membership? Are you mostly Southern Ontario small venues, or also just as equally Northern Ontario? What's the kind of Venn diagram between the community presenters and Ontario Presents that obviously has super big venues, but that also has some small venues?
Yeah. So my answer is going to be probably, I'm going to repeat myself a lot here. It's complicated. But yes, there are the north-south split. There is a pretty good representation in the north. We've got Huntsville is kind of the one big anchor venue that is like a 900 seat space, but it supports people, throughout the north, Deep River, Kirkland Lake, stuff like that. At this point, we don't have any membership from sort of the Northwestern network. So the Dryden Rainy River group is not in this at this time, but really, I mean, in terms of geography, there's no limit. It doesn't even have to be Ontario. If somebody from Quebec wanted to jump onto a tour or something like that, what are we to say no, but it is primarily I don't know if I can give it a percentage, but I'd say maybe like 60-40 south north split, depending on where that line is. And in terms of the overlap between OP and CPN, there is a lot of overlap right now, not exclusively. Some of the very small presenters, I've got people who are running like small church venues and like folk clubs and the ones like a converted cinema. They're not OP members, at least not yet. But I would say, 75-80% are members at this time. One of the big things we're trying to do as a network, as the CPN, with Ontario Presents help, is to grow the network, because we see ourselves very much as for both SPARC and Ontario Presents, kind of the way we, SPARC and OP give us a lot, but the way we give back is by driving new members to both organizations. Some of the really big there's been a few sort of major membership ads, not in terms of quantity, but quality. Like there's some really great voices that have come to both SPARC and Ontario Presents that sort of were discovered through work in the CPN. So I see us really as that, and that's something I really want to do more of. So my hope is that over the summer, between now and the pitches, we'll be adding a lot more members who are not currently members of either SPARC or Ontario Presents, but who will be in the future. So long way of saying yes, that's what our breakdown is. Okay, Danielle. You're muted, Danielle.
There you go. I have a couple of questions. I'll put forward the first two, which are probably shorter. Just looking for sort of an average artist fee that is comfortable for a good percentage of your network. I know that you have quite a range, but sort of looking at, okay, what's kind of the sweet spot for most of you?
Yeah, it does really depend. In the application form, we've given 3 options. We've given the 1,500 or less, 1,500 to I think 25, and then 25 and up. It's for in past years, there's been a mix of the first 2 amounts. Not a lot in the higher range. I've seen it. And that's not to say that artists can't necessarily be booked above those ranges. We're very clear, this is not tying you to anything. You're free to set your own amounts.
Yeah, just wondering if like once you get above 2,500, does that really exclude you from a more likely block booking kind of scheme?
Right. Yeah. I mean, the higher you go, the fewer
Of course.
the fewer people can play ball. I mean, inflation is a thing, so everything is getting more expensive. So, maybe 2,500 isn't the sweet spot like it was even 3 years ago. But I would certainly, once you got over 3, and I can't speak for any other presenter but myself, but once an artist is over 3, I'm into the maybe 1 in my season. So and certainly once an artist is over 4 or 5, it's like, unless there's some cap F money there, it's just not going to be realistic. Hopefully that gives us evidence.
Thanks, Eric.
Cool. Rachel, you have your hand up.
It's actually for Erica.
Okay, cool.
I couldn't find the raise hand thing. So touring internationally every country is different. So I'm curious, and when I'm packaging myself historically, I'm packaging myself for festivals. Like I'm doing a gig in New York in November and I have 20 minutes of tech time, right? So you know what that's like. So I'm wondering, which means that in often cases, I need to have a stage, costs more because I need to travel with a team, because I need in an hour tech, I don't have a lot of stuff, but what I need is someone that knows my cues. I can't in 20 minutes. So the theater people musicians may or may not care what I'm talking about, but whatever. So I'm curious I would hope that venues in this part of the world might have, because it's not a festival situation, I'll just come alone, but that means I'm going to need, a dresser, a stage manager, an intelligent, light op. Like I'm going to need some in-house. Is that, otherwise I can't even bother to pitch shows because I would have to I 1,500, I would lose money. So how do we do, like in theater, it's always this thing of like, I don't have a big set, but my shows have light cues, sound cues, like stuff that needs to be taken on and off stage. It's one question. And the other question is, I put one, I did fill out the form with one show, but I've got like 5 shows that
Yeah.
so, and shows that are in development and shows that have gigs downtown at like, I don't know whether block booking is a thing. So I'm just curious about someone that has multiple, because I feel like the form is designed for musicians where they're like, but I have like very different shows
Yeah.
that would meet very different audience would attract very different people, if that makes sense. So I don't know with
Yeah.
one show option, I'm like, okay, I have to pick one. Anyway, I'll stop there.
Yep.
Can I jump in for a second, Eric? Erica, we have a lot of theater companies, especially TYA, apply, and they just fill out the form more than once with different shows.
Yeah, and a lot of some of the agents on the call, like they'll fill out, a number of different artists that they have. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna consider everything. So maybe have a little sympathy for the jury and don't throw them everything. But the ones that you think are the best fit for the types of venues we have, by all means, go ahead with multiples. In terms of the question about the crewing, yes, I mean, there's a space in the application form for your tech specs, for your tech rider. And in those cases, those are things we just simply need to know. Okay, you're touring with this many people, just yourself, but you need a person to run lighting, a person to run sound, person backstage for whatever dressing, or whatever it is, scene changes, anything like that. Um, it's for us as presenters, that's just as important information as this is what my show is about. So everything that you need in can be captured in that tech rider. I like you're asking about preferences. Clarity is obviously great, but the more detail, the better, so that we know exactly what's coming. Like in terms of, if you had lighting cues, for example, and I'm only speaking for myself. I'd love to see those cues in advance or a cue sheet in advance with the writer, because yeah, good text could program that ahead of time, and then you could just come in, quickly review them, and away you go. So those are a lot of ways where a good tech writer helps. There's many of many of our venues, when it comes to people, yeah, they can get people. They need to know in advance. It's not like the big places, the unionized houses, where every person has a specific cost. It's like, well, no, we need to do we need this many people. We'll get this many people. I worked on a show, just as a maybe not a great contrast, but I was part of a tour a couple of years ago, where the show was coming in and they were only touring with 2 artists and a stage manager. That was all they were bringing. But the night before, they had done the show in one venue, and they had 7 technicians working on that show. So one doing lighting, one doing sound, one doing projections, a couple people backstage. There was a bunch of different moving parts to it, and that was just that they were able to do that because they knew in advance these are what the needs are. So yeah, the tech rider is, I think, one of the most underappreciated documents that artists can put together, because it really does help us a lot. Okay, Rachel.
Yes. So from Sage, we definitely will submit some of our artists through the online form to showcase. My question is there a list of venues and presenters that are members that I can reach out to about dates we are rooting for other tours? So I said that for the pitches, we have a list of presenters who register, but would you like to answer that general question, Eric?
Yeah, because we do get that a lot. And for the sake of our members, we don't just throw the membership list out publicly, because frankly it can get abused. But we do we do send the information to everyone about the pitches, about the gallery, everything else. We do make sure that we have that we are getting your information out to our members. And then we have meetings after and we follow up. And if there's tours opening up, if there's things that are starting to form, yeah, we're going to start reaching out and we're going to start talking, saying, hey, could we do something here and here? Some venues in the CPN are listed. There is a CPN website. I don't know if we have the up-to-date list on there, but we did at one point. Some people are fine with that. The Ontario Presents membership directory, they're all fine with theirs being open. So there are ones out there. And what I would maybe suggest, taking it one step further, if you do have somebody that's interested and is looking to book something with you, ask them who might be good ones to reach out to for other touring and routing options. Because, we do as presenters, we know each other's venues to a fairly good degree, and we are all we are a fairly close-knit network of people across Ontario, regardless of size of venue. So we do chat with one another, and we don't hesitate to recommend an artist to another venue if we think they're a good fit for them. So, when you're having those conversations with a single venue, yeah, do ask about, is there anybody else I should be talking to? Because they might have some really, really good insights for you. All right. Does anybody else have? Oh, Danielle. I'm sorry.
No,
It was the light behind you. I couldn't see.
I know. So I'm trying to block it. So I do have a few more questions. I was I wasn't clear even last year if you really do work cooperatively to create a block booking offer or no.
Um, oh yeah, yes. As I said to Chris, it's complicated.
Yeah.
Yes and no. Sometimes, yes, we do organize block books. Sometimes we will go, if it's all Ontario Presents members, we'll even go in the formal Ontario block booking program, if that's what we want to do. Sometimes members just informally create a block on their own. And we just say, okay, this presenter is going to take the lead on this. We kind of figure out some dates that work, a routing that kind of works, and then the artist or agent has a single point of contact to work from. But we're not exclusively bound to that. I've booked lots of artists just as a one-off. This is where I am. So it really is a range. We have the CPN itself has no sort of bespoke block booking tool. Like there's nothing analogous
Yeah,
to the formal structure, but we can engage with that
not
formal
needed.
structure when Ontario presents when we want it. But yeah, if we don't, we've
Spreadsheets are fine and emails.
spreadsheets have booked a lot of tours. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
was just wondering, like, I think I wasn't really sure in the follow-up if there was like a leader to champion an artist needed, or if you met as a group after the pitch sessions and sort of tried to leverage your resources. Um, yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't,
Yeah. I mean, for a lot of us, it's about, okay, who did you get excited about?
yeah,
Who piqued your interest? Who's somebody that you really liked? And those people tend to champion those artists. So that's how things sort of get
okay.
rolling. Um, and as I was saying to Chris on the top, we're really um I'm really interested in network development. I'm really interested in us bringing new members on board, but I'm also interested in being able to do more for our presenters. So facilitating more of those conversations. Not everybody is available for a Zoom call at,
Sure.
noon on a Tuesday. So what are the other ways that, we can connect and collaborate? This is something I'm thinking about a lot, with a view to, ultimately making it easier for presenters to see work, book work, and collaborate on work, which also ultimately leads to more work for artists.
Yeah.
So it's a moving target. It's something that we're working on, and it's something that we already do. Like I say, the first 3 years it was all spreadsheets. We just had one for each season and sort of worked off of that. But it's something I want to do more of, and I want the network to get better at as we keep moving forward.
So, in follow up to that, I had two artists last year
Mhm.
that we did virtual pitches with.
Mhm.
Should I bother doing applications for them this year or no? Like, are they kind of
Um,
excluded since they've been before?
no, there's no reason they can't. I suppose we're going to run into that problem eventually if we get the same people playing over and over and over again, and they pitch year after year after year. We might have to say, okay, you maybe need to take a year off. But we're
Yeah,
not at
because
that
some
point
other
yet. So
people here on this call,
yeah,
same
yeah.
scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. By all means, go ahead and apply, even if it's the same
Okay.
artist. I've had a couple of people ask me that. Do I have to reapply if I applied last year? Yes, you have to
Yeah.
reapply. Yeah, we don't save them from year over year. But there's no reason why they can't. Because even if it's the same material, but if they have new material, that's great. I know I've booked people that I've seen, 2 or 3 years ago because my circumstances changed, and that's what, somebody who's not a fit one year, it's like, oh my God, you're an answer to my prayers the next year, because it's like just everything makes sense. So,
Yeah.
all right. Uh,
I have
Anybody?
one more if
Yeah,
nobody
no,
else
perfect. No,
does.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, Sort of curious about outreach and educational priorities among the networks,
Mhm.
and if that's an opportunity with artists.
Um, Specifically looking at, um, like thinking like master classes stuff or like
More school
TYA.
engagement, more along the lines of school engagement. I just know a lot of other networks that are in the rural community sort of
Mhm.
sector tend to do a lot of school shows
Mhm.
or collaborations with different community arts groups to take advantage of an artist's visit. And I wasn't sure if that
Mhm.
was a thing
It
there.
was very much a thing. Yes, yeah. No, I should have the link for Ontario Presents Slow Touring Project in there because they're very much interested in that, um in sort of bringing people to communities and having them stay essentially. But
Yeah.
yes, a lot of by all means, if you have anything theater for young audiences stuff, please do consider including that as well. Or the crossover stuff.
Yeah.
If you're an artist like Chris, who has both, children's performances and adult stuff, there's no reason why an artist, you couldn't do a school show during the day and a public show at night,
Right.
you know.
I know some of the northern presenters really do want to maximize that time that the artists are in the community, especially if
Mhm.
it's winter and they're not getting many artists. So anything, you're right, that's a T-way and public or T-way and seniors homes or community centers.
Yeah.
So definitely don't shy away from that, even though maybe some of those folks who are more urban, that might not be their jam. Our northern folks definitely is. Sorry for jumping in, Eric.
No, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. No, I think that's really important. Yeah, because a lot of those places, they are working on a very sort of specific set of circumstances, and they certainly in a lot of cases have a very captive audience. uh, and there's some really good opportunities there. And oddly enough, year one of our pitches, we had lots of TYA presenters. Year two, we didn't have any. Or one, maybe, yeah, one. So it really varies, you know. I am.
Well, and I'm not just talking theater for young audiences type of thing. I'm talking about bringing regular works that are of a different culture per se, that are
Mhm.
there to help educate and inform and create compassion and understanding of other cultures through their
Mhm.
regular work, not
Oh
like
yeah,
by
yeah, no,
dumbing it down, so to speak, for a
no,
particular
but
age
please,
group.
please do. You know, one of the things I've been tasked with in my community is to find more culturally significant programming to align with the township's DEI strategic initiatives, and I'm sure that there's many other presenters who out there who are in the same boat. You know, so we definitely want to hear about those sort of work too. One of the questions I thought we might get today is, you know, do we have any sort of guardrails in place to ensure we're making sure that we're considering indigenous content and content from persons of color and stuff like that. We don't. We have to rely on, you know, the we have to rely on our own, you know, self-awareness to make sure that we're being as representative as we can, and being respectful to a really wide variety of communities. So I really do encourage that sort of stuff to be included in this as well. Also, you know, anybody who's got any accessibility needs, you know, we put that on there as well. That's Rachel is the accessibility guru, so I will, she can happily help out any sort of questions around access needs, whatever they may be, because that's we need to see more diversity of all types in what we're presenting. Rachel.
If there's no more questions, I just wanted to go through a little bit of logistics so people know what
Good
to
idea.
expect.
Yep.
Applications are open until midnight, June 30th. It is the form that Eric has dropped in the chat, or you can find it on the SPARC Facebook page, Ontario Presents pages, and newsletters. The jury will take approximately a month.
Yeah, give or
Yeah.
take. Yeah, we'll try and have it out by August 1st. So
Yeah.
yeah, because that gives everybody a month to get ready for the actual pitch.
Yeah. So all of this communication will come from me. So Rachel at sparkperformingarts.com. You will be notified if you were chosen to pitch and if you were not chosen to pitch. The emails will look different. If you're chosen to pitch, you will have a link to a Google Drive where you upload all of your stuff. You create your own subfolder, you upload there. And then you will also get a link to the gallery folder. You create your own subfolder, you upload there. If you were not selected to pitch, you get just the link to the gallery because you're still welcome to submit to the gallery. Please take a look at the gallery. It is really lovely. I think it's very well done. Everyone has their own page. And then the pitches are generally the first week of September. The first year we did Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Friday didn't work. So last year we
Yeah.
did Tuesday, Wednesday,
Mhm.
Thursday. I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah.
we're
I
sticking with
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
so
And
that
we
all
will. Yeah, we stick to the evening just because we realize that a lot of people may have, you know, day jobs. And we try not to go too early into supper because, you know, childcare, things like that. So, but that seems to be working fairly well. So.
Chris will confirm that. We just need to double check to make sure we're not conflicting with anything from OP or FMO.
Yeah.
FMO's in October, so we should be fine. OP should be a little later,
Yeah.
but we just need to confirm that, and then that will be published for sure.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. 2, 3, 4.
And then on the night of the pitches themselves, Eric, is it going to be the same as previous years?
As far as I know,
Great.
yeah, we do like 7 till 8:30-ish. You
Yeah.
know, not. Yeah, the pitches the reels last roughly an hour, I think.
Yeah, an hour
Yeah,
each
and
night.
then yeah, and then everybody's got some time after to sort of hang out, and we'll just keep it going as long as people want to hang out and chat. So.
And we put the artists in their own rooms and the presenters just round robin.
Yep.
and they just come into the breakout rooms on Zoom and they chat. Sometimes they don't come into your room, but those people have also been booked. Like I had someone who's like, no,
Yeah.
talk to me.
Nobody can.
Like,
Yeah, don't take it personally if nobody comes in your room. Doesn't mean that they don't like you.
Yeah, they could have already just decided you're definitely it for them, right? Like, and
Yeah.
they don't want to talk to you because they want to talk to that person they're unsure about.
Yeah.
So, and then they get your contact info, so they'll contact you. Or it could also mean like you're not the fit for them, but just we're there for half an hour, and then we all come back into the same room. We close the room, and the presenters all get the reels at the end. And I've just noticed Ontario Presents published those on their website, a link to them, so that they're there, and they're good for a year, and then we do delete them after a year and we upload the new content. So that's basically how it goes. We're going to upload this to our YouTube and social channels in case there was something you weren't you heard and you weren't sure about. It'll be up by end of day tomorrow. I'm in a tech right now, so I'm on a lunch break and I'm going to run back to tech things. So it might just take a little while. Sorry.
No, thank you very much, Rachel, and thank you everyone for coming out to do this. Certainly, if you have any questions following up that we didn't get to here today, feel free to shoot Rachel a message, or I'll put my email in the chat as well. I'm happy to answer any individual questions that anybody may have, it's we keep this fair. We try to keep the pitches like this session fairly quiet, fairly informal and laid back, and we just try and do what we can to help people get some work. So, all right, last word to Veronica.
Yeah, sorry. Just had one quick question. So, what kind of criteria is the jury looking for in terms of the pitches?
I knew that one was coming. No, it's I can't speak for the jury themselves, but I do know that it's very much considering a mix. We're considering that we have a wide variety of presenters in the network, a variety of needs, from theater to music to dance, things in between, and a variety of a variety of budget ranges that we're working in. And we do have an obligation to consider a diversity of content. So all those factors play in. And what we hope through the process is that we achieve a balance of that. And of course, we can only balance based on what comes in, what we work with. But there is a real, without giving away too many sort of trade secrets, we do strive for a balance. And that's what we that's what has worked for us in the last 2 years, and I think that's the direction the jury is going to do to the best of their abilities this year as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Last words? Okay. Well, I think that's it for today. Thank you everyone again for coming out and joining us. And good luck to those of you who have applied. And if you haven't applied, please apply before the 30th. And hopefully we'll see you all in September.
Thanks, Eric. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.